Casting from the basement of La Penta, it's WICR.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the Sports Vault Jersey. Joe Archino back here, and I've always believed that versatility is the ultimate measure of greatness. Whether you look at the greats in the NBA history like a Will Chamberlain, like a LeBron James today, players who have multiple skills and can do multiple things on the court at one time are so dangerous because they can just do anything, and the defense always has to respect their multiple abilities, like a LeBron James. On the defensive end, on the offensive end, he really can do anything on the court, and the defense always has to respect that. He may just be putting his teammates in position to succeed, or he might just be trying to go down your throat and score the ball offensively. There are so many things that players like a Wilt and LeBron can do, and not a lot of players have that level of versatility. Another player who does have that, though, is Anthony Davis, and I think the case in point to that was made last night where the Detroit Pistons fell to his New Orleans Pelicans 111-106, and he did it behind an incredible 59 points and 20 rebounds. Now, I think the whole Twitter world and the whole sports world kind of went crazy last night because, again, this is an incredible testament. I mean, you look at in the last 50 seasons, he's one of 3 players to have 55 points and 20 rebounds in a game. The only other 2 are Shaq and then Will Chamberlain. That is quite a nice company to be in when it comes to that regard. But, again, it really is such an incredible testament to a player like this. And one of the labels that I think we've always assigned to Anthony Davis is versatility. A guy who gets his blocked shots. He's a double-double machine. He really does a little bit of everything on the court, and he's really turned into such a nice, polished NBA player with a nice perimeter game. It's one of those things where a lot of guys come into the NBA, and some guys work at their game, and little by little they add more perimeter-based scoring to their game. They add more of a dimension to their game away from the basket. Blake Griffin, that happened, and when he came into the NBA, I always say he was a volleyball player. Really had no and could do nothing away from the basket, but he added those elements to his game, and he has that perimeter element now. Same thing with LeBron. LeBron wasn't always a great perimeter player, but he worked at it on his game, and now he's as effective from the perimeter as he is attacking the rim. Anthony Davis is one of those players where he's so young and he's only going to continue to get better and better, and we've continued to see glimpses and catch these little windows of why he's such a special player, and the versatility to me is the thing that stands out the most. I mean, again, we know what he is. He's a power forward. He's a big player. I don't know if he's big enough to classify him as a traditional center, but he is more of the newfound age NBA hybrid type player where he's got the size to go up and get the rebounds, but he's also got a nice touch to his game where he can hit shots and play away from the basket. And that is what the NBA is today. If you're a big man and you have size, you need to stretch the floor. You need to have a game away from the basket. Old school centers like Dwight Howard are going out the window. They don't have an impact in this league anymore. It's the Karl Anthony Towns of the world. It's the Anthony Davises of the world. Those are the ones who make the true impact in the game today. But we look at that performance, and again, it really is incredible. Another little fun one where he's the second youngest player in the history of the game to have 50 points in a 20-rebound game. The only guy in front of him is Bob McAdoo, who again, who people who don't really know the NBA, the history before the '80s. Bob McAdoo is one of the prime scorers. Played with the Buffalo Braves. He won a title with the Lakers. He did a little bit of everything, but he could score the basketball as good as anybody in the history of this game. And then right behind Anthony Davis is Elvin Hayes, and then of course Will Chamberlain, number 4 on this list. But again, it is one of those things where he is such a young player. He still has so much growth, and we've just continued to see the windows and the glimpses of him getting better and better and better. It's one of those things that I look at, and you have to look at what's around him. And New Orleans is really a team that has struggled this season mightily. They really had their coming out party last season, finally made the playoffs. And this season, it really has not been a good start for them. I thought Alvin Gentry coming in after what he did with the Warriors last season was going to really make this an interesting team, but they've really struggled in it. And it's a young team. It's not just Anthony Davis. It's a very young team around him as well. But I don't think that there's any question or denying the talent and the ability of an Anthony Davis. There's not many players in the NBA who could put up those kinds of numbers and it can match just the pure versatility. There's different types of versatility, but Anthony Davis has the traditional ones of a big man and just the pure athleticism. Again, this isn't a guy who's clunky on the court. A lot of big centers are clunky and they don't move well on the floor. He's athletic. He's got speed. He can play and do and really there's not much on the court that this guy can't do. And again, for people who finally see or are starting to pay attention now after that 59-point and 20-rebound game, you just know that versatility is the true mark of a great player, and Anthony Davis is as good as they come. Last season, I think maybe for the first 3 months of the season, you could make the very strong argument that Anthony Davis was the MVP of the league, but then he had a little bit of injuries, and then we all know kind of how the season progressed, and Stephen Curry, his ride and his emergence with the Golden State Warriors and how they transformed to what they are now, but he is as good as it comes, Anthony Davis. His numbers prove it. His versatility proves it, and he's only going to continue to get better from here. And before this, it's funny now, Anthony Davis has now had the highest scoring game in the NBA this season. DeMarcus Cousins right behind him, and I believe Stephen Curry is right behind DeMarcus Cousins. Curry had the 51-point game. Cousins had the 56-point game, and now Anthony Davis tops that with a 59-point game. I think we were all kind of distracted by the Thunder Cavaliers game, and this was kind of happening in the background of it, but it's one of those things. Anthony Davis, as good as it comes, it really is. Versatility is the true mark of greatness. There's not many guys who can really fit the bill, but we've seen unique and just transcendent versatility with guys like Wilt, guys like LeBron. I'll be honest, it's young, but Anthony Davis might not be too far away from it. You let him continue to grow and grow into an NBA body and add more touch and element to his game. This guy could really be as good as it gets, but until we continue to watch the progression of Anthony Davis, Jersey Joe Archino here with the Sports Vault. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Archino, on Instagram, Jersey_Joe_Archino, and we'll see everybody next time.